All right, hey, hello everyone. It's Kibbles here. So what I'm going to be doing today is stream on YouTube for the first time ever, uh, because actually these days I've been streaming on Twitch, um, and it's not too bad over there. I'm just trying to expand my options. What are my manners? So first off, I think introductions are in order. First off, I am a Singaporean, so you might not be used to my accent, which has been changed. A little bit of a background about me. I'm living right now in Tokyo, and because I've left Singapore when I was like 23 years old, so my accent would be a lot different from what some people might know, someone like Arthur's. And then I went to Australia for 11 years, changed, because of my job, right? So I had to change my accent, and now it's a little bit different. So some people actually ask me on Twitch at least, they ask me like, why do you speak with such a very funny, very very weird way of speaking English, and I tell them all about it. Right, I've got a very long background. Lived in several countries, and right now it's my fifth year, or rather my sixth year in Tokyo. Just a heads up, my English is deteriorating. As long as you're living in Japan, you don't really use English that much, it will go down. So anyway, enough about that. What I'm going to be doing today is discuss some interesting Final Fantasy XIV topics. Pardon my background, sorry about that. I'm living in a tiny cramped Tokyo apartment with my wife, so I can't really do anything about that. I know I should really get a green screen. I keep saying that again and again to my viewers on Twitch, but they kind of understand. There's really not much space over here. So today is some interesting topics about Final Fantasy XIV. It's kind of like this. What is interesting for the Western audience might not necessarily be something that is, that kind of grabs the attention of Japanese viewers. In fact, they are very different when it comes to gaming perspectives. So let's get down to it, right? Let me just change this. I'm gonna shrink down this video a little bit. Over here, transition. Okay, so one of the excuse me for having something like this up here, but this is one of the most popular Final Fantasy XIV news website, entertainment website out there, and I use this pretty often to kind of get a glimpse into the minds of a Japanese player, right? This is all in Japanese. Final Fantasy XIV Sokuho, because it's like quick news, fast news, emergency news, not emergency news, but basically lightning speed news. All right, so some very interesting topics that crop up among the Japanese community. All right, let's go through them. 召喚しなぜフェニックスを召喚できるのかその理由 okay, so I'm just gonna go through the recent topics that have cropped up. This one is basically saying how can the summoner summon the summoner in the Final Fantasy series summon Phoenix? Is there a reason for it? There should be a lore behind that, and I tend to agree. Final Fantasy has done quite a good job in explaining almost everything when it comes to job classes. Like, for example, how dragoons wear their spiky armor because they have to fight dragons and stuff like that. Summoners, they're not very clear on why they can summon things. Maybe I missed something in the job class. In fact, I have all of my classes at level 80. It's been years since I last checked out the class, summoner class. But yeah, this is just a tiny, a small little topic that crops up. Well, I think this is kind of it's kind of not that interesting for this part. Okay, let's move down. For this website, what I usually find is that this is the commenting. As long as it goes past 100 comments on this website by Japanese players, I consider that to be interesting. Something that can be discussed, and there's a lot of input from Japanese players. So let's move down. This one's 25, and this is honestly talking about, how the placement marks, like the quest markers, and how it affects players. Sometimes you can see it on the mini maps or on the big maps, and then it just obscures so much. It kind of gets annoying. This is just a small little topic. Let's see. This one is interesting. ネットゲーをやっていて、老いを感じる習慣といえば、basically when you're playing something like what they call an internet game, or basically in this case it's a MMO. When is the moment you realize that you've gotten old? Basically, that's what it means. Okay. Well, let's see. For my case, when was the exact moment that I realized that I've gotten old? I think, let me think. Internet gaming, yeah. I guess when I started playing, okay, so when it comes to MMOs or internet games in particular, my very first MMO, I don't really consider. Okay. It's kind of an MMO, I guess. Yeah, my very first MMO would be Maple Story. Yeah, we all know how Maple Story is like. Yeah, it's basically a 2D MMO. A lot of people are playing on the same server, and you control these 2D sprites, and they run around, jump around, do special abilities. You kill, you farm, and you get more powerful. Yeah, that was my first MMO. And then my second one, I think it was Guild Wars 1. Yeah, because back then I still did not have the mindset to pay a monthly subscription for a game, because back this was like more than 10 years ago. This was like close to 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm kind of old. So back then, to me, paying for a game is just buying the game outright and then playing it all the way, and then it had a lifespan. As soon as you finish that, that's it, you move on to another game. And so the concept of an internally existing world where you pay on a monthly basis, that was unacceptable to me back then, right? I was still a student. I was still a uni student. And so Guild Wars 1, I knew about World of Warcraft back then, but the idea of paying for the base game and then paying some more for a monthly subscription, yeah, that was too much for me as a university student. And then so I tried Guild Wars 1. One of the biggest selling points of Guild Wars 1 was that you didn't have to pay a monthly subscription. So it was an MMO, a 3D MMO RPG with substantial story, good classes, well balanced, and you didn't have to pay a single cent after the basic after you pay for the base game. Oh, what's this? CMDR After Hours. YouTube recommended your channel to me, so I'm here. Hope all is well. The time has come to draw the line. If you got the shots, let me know so I can leave. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is, but okay. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but okay. Yeah, I'll be moving on. So Guild Wars 1, that was, so Maple Story first, Guild Wars 1, and then I played Guild Wars 1 for a long time. To me, anything that lasts me about 100 hours, a game that can last me about 100 hours, I consider it a good game, right? So Guild Wars 1 lasted me a long time. And then I was thinking, I had a great time. In fact, it was so good that I thought, if this is good, what about World of Warcraft? Back then, it was all the rage, right? It was level 50. Legion, no, not Legion. What's that? Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade was the first expansion, right? Yeah, Burning Crusade hadn't been released yet, and so I played World of Warcraft, and my mind was blown. The amount of freedom in that game was crazy. So I spent a lot of time in these MMOs. I realized that it was a world that I could immerse myself in. It was an environment that I could go out, kill people, PvP, right? That's how it works. You go out there, have a lot of fun, and you feel like it's another world that you can get into. Back then, it was still good, right? And then I moved onwards, and basically I had the notion that in order to play an MMO, you have to spend a lot of time in there. Which is kind of true, right? In order to get the most out of your subscription, out of your money, out of your, you have to invest a lot of time into the game. And so the moment where I actually feel that I've gotten old, this is basically, I'm not hiding anything. I just want to be frank with you guys. I am 39 years old now. I've got priorities. I'm not able to play games all day. The moment that I felt old is when I feel that I could not put all of those same hours that I could back in the day into the games right now. Let's see. I think round about 34 years old. I think it was basically the moment I came to Japan. I was in Australia, and by that time I was playing Final Fantasy XIV. It was Heaven's Ward, so that was like close to 6 years ago, right? I spent so much time in the game, and then I came over to Japan, started working, met my wife, and your priorities shift, right? You realize that in life, you're going to live in this life for only a certain period of time, right? You only can live up to, 70 years or 80 if you're lucky and stuff. Lucky, depending on how you look at it, right? And then I start to realize that it might not be such a good idea to put all of my living hours into a game. So when I played Final Fantasy XIV, I was raiding. Back then in Australia, I was raiding so much. I did Bahamut, so it was like 2 or 3 times a week. And then I came to Japan, started playing again, and there was the Heaven's Ward raids, right? That were available. The Alexander Savage raids. And then it was my FC. My FC was asking, like, is there anyone who wants to come and join us? We've got a spot open. We've got a DPS spot open. In Final Fantasy XIV, having a DPS spot open for Savage raids, that is so rare, right? And I wanted to, like, yeah, I want to try. I want to try it out again. I want to feel what it's like to go with friends, go and tackle some very difficult content. Uh, just basically spend time in there, get good loot, and get out. Yeah. And then it was at that moment I realized, wait a minute. If I were to go into a savage raid, Alexander, it's going to be at least 2 times a week or 3 times a week again. Wiping. Because now at the start it's going to be learning, right? Learning, and you're going to wipe a lot before you start clearing. And even if you are very familiar with the content, it doesn't mean the rest of your team is familiar with that. And then you might have some nights where you cannot clear at all and some nights where you can clear, right? But in order to reach that point, you have to put in a certain amount of hours to kind of put, you got to have your muscle memory in your fingers, and your brain is thinking very quickly. And at that moment I thought, yeah, I'm getting old. I no longer have the same amount of time that I did back then. Yeah, that was when I felt that I got old, basically. What about Japanese players? Let's have a look. Okay, so this Japanese player is saying, just playing a few hours, I get tired from that. Yeah. I mean, I used to be able to play games for, well, we all did, right? We used to be able to play games for 12 hours on end, no problem. And then now just a few hours is like, yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Wait, I'm gonna go back first. Open a new tab. Hold on. I need to I need to hide my bookmarks. Yeah. I also play Genshin anyway. Let's see. 数時間で疲れる. Yeah, play for a few hours. 周回がだるい. Basically playing a few times, you just get tired. Just get lethargic. This person says 遅くまででできなくなったな. So he or she cannot play until a very late hour, like maybe like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Yeah, I mean, if you got a job, right? If you when you grow up, you have responsibilities, and then you just cannot play that long. Maybe during the weekends, yeah. But if you have commitments, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a wife, if you have a husband, a partner, you have real life friends out there, social commitments, then yeah, you just cannot play that long. 昔は夜としてできたけど、今は2時くらいになると目が開かなくなって寝落ちしてる. So this guy is saying, yeah, he can play all night. He used to be able to play all night. But then nowadays, when it comes to like 2 a.m., he just naturally goes to sleep. I mean, cannot really blame him. If you're a salary man in Japan, where you work until like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, you come home, you're dead tired, right? You just want to relax. And then if you play a game, depending on what game that you play, Final Fantasy XIV, luckily, yeah, that it's kind of relaxing, right? But then the tiredness of the day sets in, and when you go to like 2 a.m., yeah, you just fall asleep. Yeah. 超時間できない. Yeah, I cannot play for long hours. チカチカする, which I'm not very sure what that means. 20代までネットゲーいけてたけど、30なってから無理. Oh, okay. When you're in your 20s, yeah, you can just play any sort of games and no problems. You're not tired at all. But when you hit your 30s, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. When you're in your 30s, it starts. And you notice, yeah, I'm no longer a super gamer that I once was. 長時間できんくなったことやな. This guy's from Kansai, from the Kansai region. 休みでも1時間2時間が限界. Okay, so even on his days off, he can only play like internet games, MMOs. He can play like 1 or 2 hours at the most. FF14 でも、毎日5、6時間やってるおっさんすげえと思うわ。Okay. So any working adult who's able to play 5 to 6 hours a day, oh, he thinks it's awesome. 発達入ってないと無理や。Yeah. Oh, this one is interesting. This one is interesting. He says, カメラワークで yo. So motion sickness from camera controls, from camera movements. This one is interesting because I thought this one happens to me as well when I play FPSs, especially first-person shooters like Call of Duty and stuff. As long as there's action, as long as there's adrenaline pumping in my system, I do not get motion sickness. They call it simulated sickness for games. Right? But when FPSs require me to look around all over the place for something without any sort of combat or fighting that's going on to get me pumping up, I get dizzy. This happens a lot in Half-Life. This happens in Apex Legends as well. Fortnite Battle Royale games where firefights are few and far between. Yeah, you spend most of the time looking around, and especially in new environments. I get dizzy. In Overwatch as well. But Overwatch, at the start it was. If it's a new map and I'm like, oh, the new sites, I get dizzy. But Overwatch is a lot of action. It's like hardly any downtime. You're always hearing combat somewhere. Battlefield as well. But I had this problem when I was younger. When I was way younger. Which is very interesting. This guy got this kind of simulated sickness when he got older. For me, it has always been there. 3時間も続けられなくなった。Yeah, he cannot play for like 3 hours straight. Okay. Luckily, I still can do that. It just depends on what kind of game it is. If it's League of Legends, RM, like the middle, yeah, sure, why not? Is Final Fantasy 14? Yeah, I mean 3 hours I still can do it, no problem. すぐ目が疲れて目の奥が痛くなってしまう。So his eyes, this person's eyes gets tired, and then he starts to have a pain at the back of his eye. Oh, now that is serious stuff. You shouldn't play games. You shouldn't play so long. あとすぐ飽きてしまう。Yeah, okay. He just gets bored of the game. It really depends on what you're playing, really. And I think that if you grew up playing games, then something like that wouldn't really be much of an issue. Just checking to see my stream. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like if you grew up playing games, like maybe when you're a teenager, you grew up playing a lot of games. I used to play Sonic. I'm a big fan of Sonic. I used to play Sonic for hours on end. And then your body just gets used to it. This person says 気づいたら効率になっている。Okay. So he just gets worse and worse as he plays along. 結構泣いちゃう? What? This guy cries. Why? Okay. But that is interesting. That is kind of cool. Alright. When did you actually feel that you've grown up, that you've actually gotten older, that you are not in your gaming prime, as they say? We were gaming experts back when we were in our 20s. I don't know about you guys, but I was. Almost any game that you pick up, you can be expert in. Well, at least I think so. Okay, let's see. What's next? Oh, this one is interesting. Let's see. Kinsetsu DPS. Kinsetsu DPS. So it's like melee DPS, close combat. の方向して要素をなくしてほしいとか言ってるやつちょっと濃い。Okay. Basically, this one is saying this guy is he raised a topic basically that he wants the positional requirements of Final Fantasy XIV to be removed in game. All right. Okay. For people who play Final Fantasy XIV and they do not play melee, they don't really understand. They wouldn't really understand the pains of maybe the fun. Sometimes it's also the fun of positional requirements. What I'm talking about is samurai. High level samurai. Low level samurai, you wouldn't need positionals. Dragoons, which need the side and the back occasionally. Ninjas as well. I think that's, and one more, monk as well, which monk has the most positionals but is my favorite class. All right, basically all the melee classes, and I'm gonna bet you the new Reaper class is gonna require positionals as well. Definitely, it's not spared that. All right, now first of all, I just want to discuss this. Is it good or bad? Is positionals good or bad in Final Fantasy XIV? To be honest with you, I guess it depends. Like a opinion. For new players, it's gonna be rough on them. All right. For people who are new to the MMO genre, it can be tough. But for people who wish to have more of a challenge, I think it's good. I think it's awesome. All right. For me, I cannot imagine how boring monk will be. I'm a monk main, by the way. When it comes to DPS, right? I'm a monk main. At the start, in fact, I asked my wife, do you want to try playing monk? I play Final Fantasy XIV with my wife. Do you want to try playing monk? It's actually quite fun. She says no. She plays Dragoon. She used to play Dragoon, and she loved it. And I told her, like, monks, yeah, you gotta move, man. You gotta move from the side to the back, like a real monk. You're not just standing there punching stuff, right? And she said no. She said too much positionals. Yeah, but that's part of the fun. For me, that is part of the fun. To always strive to get into the correct position and then do big ass damage, right? That is the thrill. That is the fun of monk. I think that is the most important aspect of a monk. If you do not like positionals, then monk is not for you. If you enjoy going to the back, hitting maybe I don't know, I'm so bad with the ability names. Right? So going to the back, hitting a positional, going to the side, hitting a positional, and then knowing that you did full damage, and then doing it again, and realizing that not many people are able to pull this off. Yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, I like it. All right, would you remove positionals in this game? I guess this only applies to people who have played melee. I mean, if I were to remove, if Yoshida were to remove positionals for Dragoons at this point in time, it wouldn't be enjoyable anymore, I think. No. You would basically just be standing in that same spot and just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, AoE comes out and you just move away and come back. There is no. I would say, for new players, I guess they wouldn't mind this. But as someone who's looking for a challenge, I play this game to enjoy myself, to challenge myself as well. And the last thing I want is for the game to dumb down to a point where skill is no longer involved. Well, skill is definitely involved, but it's if it's kind of dumbed down to a point where it's like any other MMO out there. Yeah, no man, no. I think positionals are here to stay. I hope they stay. I do not want them to add even more. I think monks have the most amount of positionals, and yeah, that's it. The rest of the classes can stay, are fine as they are. They do not really require even more than that. For Reaper, if I were to make a guess, positionals for Reaper, it depends on the DPS, but I have a feeling it's definitely going to have at least 2, right? Because almost basically all the melee have at least the side and the front. Okay, Reaper is going to have those as well, definitely not as many as monks, but they will have those. What I am hoping though, and this is very unpopular opinion, I bet, is that tanks, because there's positionals for flanks, right? Flanks over here and then the rear, but there's no positionals for the front, right? I know this doesn't really make sense, and I do not wish for melee DPS right now to actually have a skill that hits at the front, because the front is generally a very dangerous position. What I'm talking about is maybe positionals for tanks. Not so much that they actually have to move, try and get out of the way and stuff, but more like if you're a tank, if you're the main tank, yeah, okay, nothing really changes, right? But if you are the sub tank, in let me think. Sorry, not sub tank, because I play on the Japanese server, and we call the off tanks sub tanks. So sub tanks is called ST, and then in the English servers, you guys call it off tanks, right? OT. I keep getting mixed up. So what I'm hoping, and this is unpopular opinion, what I'm hoping is that off tanks can get a bit of positionals, and it's not like having existing abilities having those positionals. It's more like the new abilities that are going to come in Endwalker have those positional abilities, that if maybe just one, right? So that as the off tank, you can have a burst of DPS if you so wish. There's a lot of potential in this, and maybe even like in the front as well. Let's say if you do a tank swap, and as soon as you do the tank swap, there is a skill that you can use to pump out a lot of damage right at the front over here, and then maybe it's for the main tank as well, right? I don't mind that. As far as range is concerned, I think that is too much, simply because if you are a melee, you can just skirt around the enemy very easily. You can move around, but then as a range, you have a greater distance to cover. That is kind of difficult. I wonder, what about Japanese players? What do they think about this? Let's see. この流れは方向してがなくなるやつ. Okay, let's see what they're gonna say. It is interesting. 方向してなくてもいいんじゃねえと思うけどね. Okay, so this person is in agreement. He agrees that positionals can be removed. 坊主やコンテンツによって方向してあったりなかったりする. Okay. So when it comes to Boja and some solo content where you're fighting enemies outside, especially fates, okay, yeah, 中途半端. Okay, because it's like half-assed. That's why it's saying. That is certainly true, and that is an issue that Monk has. When I was playing Monk during Fates, yeah, okay, I can kind of agree with that, right? When you're fighting a fate boss, and you just cannot turn the boss around. You just cannot turn the mobs around so that you can actually hit from the side and from the back, because they're always facing you. So none of your positionals matter, and you're going to use your big cooldowns for small enemies. Yeah, okay. I think there may be workarounds for that. Maybe out in the open. Perhaps. Maybe out in the open field. Positional requirements are a little bit more relaxed. I don't know how they're gonna do this, but yeah. But I still think that positionals are here to stay, and I think it's a good thing. Just not too much of it. 方向してなくしてよいわ。その代わり敵の方向いてなきゃオートアタックは当たらない貴様を復活してほしい。What? Okay, so oh shit, this guy is Spartan, man. He's basically saying, yeah, okay, positional requirements, you can remove it, sure. But if you're not facing the correct direction, if your character is not facing the correct direction, then you won't be able to hit the enemy at all. Now this brings into mind World of Warcraft, where you actually have to face the enemy, right? You have to move your camera to face the enemy to do attacks. It's not like Final Fantasy, where if you turn your character away from the enemy and then you press a button, your character will automatically turn to the enemy and just execute that move. For World of Warcraft, it's not like that. If you are facing away from the boss and you press a spell, you're not going to cast it. Right? Or rather, it fails. そこプレススキル割と分かれるとから。Okay. I think Final Fantasy is built up from, it starts off casual, right? Casual in the sense that combat systems are easy to get into. But if you were to do this straight away, like World of Warcraft did, and to be really honest, World of Warcraft is not exactly newbie friendly. Final Fantasy XIV, in terms of the Japanese mindset, they like to have things, given to them piecemeal, like small little pieces introduced bit by bit. And if you were to throw them something like that right from the start, I don't know. It's not gonna go very well with them. 方向してなくて、なくせって言ってるのってメレインでやってないやつ。なんだよこれ。Okay. Okay, so basically this guy is saying the people who want the positionals gone are basically not melee mains. Wise words. If you are a melee main, you wouldn't say that. That's what it's basically saying. I think part of the fun of being a melee is the positional requirements. It adds an extra layer of skill. This is interesting. 近接はボスの後ろでコソコソとゴキブリみたいに動いているのがみっともない。Okay, wow, this guy is harsh. He's basically saying that as a melee, you're like sneakily moving around from the side to the back and moving around like a cockroach. It looks disgusting. That's what basically he's saying. Oh shit. Okay, this is one thing. All right. This is one thing that a lot of Western people, people who are basically not Japanese, do not know about, Japanese internet etiquette. People think Japanese people are very polite. They are very polite. But when it comes to the internet, they are pretty much the same as us. They can be toxic. They can be very toxic sometimes. So this, I don't know who says this, but yeah, who said this? But this, yeah, he's saying that this is, yeah, he's saying that it looks disgusting having the melee moving around like that. Oh man, come on, get off your high horse. 方向指定は Oh, okay, so this guy is all for removing positionals. So you want to remove positionals because it looks unsightly? Is that it? Is that it? That, huh. 方向なくしたらつまらなくなるだろう. Yes. Yes. This guy gets it. He's saying that without positionals, it is boring. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. レンジみたいにチンパンカとかやめろ。Okay, this guy is a melee main. Because he's saying like, don't make the melees like the range. Like, don't make us weak ass like the range. 6.0 は方向して成功したらスキルが強化攻撃になるとかを増やしてほしい逆に。This guy is hardcore. This guy actually wants more positionals in 6.0 and Walker. For me, I think that's enough. I think right now, melees have just the right balance. Just the right amount. Almost every class, melee, has at least 2 positionals. Just 2 skills. Only the monk has more. Reaper is going to be the same as well. And if you want to put even more, people will complain. I mean, for monks, there is no difference because every single ability requires at the side or at the back. It makes no difference. If you were to add more, you can't add more because all of our abilities are like that. But that's what makes it so fun. 近接の攻撃範囲と方向指定のせいでやること限られてそう。Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's one thing. You know, back then, or rather now even, we have, so this guy is basically saying, that our let's say melee classes, when we do our AoE attacks, we have to face a certain direction, right? We are usually targeting one enemy and then we do like an AoE attack towards it, so anything in between gets hit. And this person is basically saying that it is very limiting for melee, and I kind of agree on that, because I remember back then monks. I know monk is like one of the least popular classes in Final Fantasy XIV, and I keep going back basically because if monk is able to do it, any melee DPS is able to do it. The AoE attacks for melee classes, monks were the worst in terms of damage and positional requirements. Back then, we needed to have positionals for monks for AoE were like the first attack was this kind of action, and then it was just AoE around it. The second one required enemies to be in front of him, and so you go into the pack of enemies. You did your first one, and then you move back and you aim, and then the third one is point blank AoE, so around you again. So you move into the crowd, you move out, and then you move back in. It was a pain in the ass, to be honest. All right, especially when you're doing AoEs and you're still doing subpar damage. Luckily, it's been improved. Now it's just pure point blank AoE. So you just go right in there and just wail on the enemies. Now, I think if you were to do combos, AoE combos, I think they should not have a direction. But then it really depends on how, because it doesn't make sense for, let's say, a dragoon, right? His animation is jumping up and then sending a shock wave forward, or just whirling his spear, and then this kind of cool looking animation, this energy just blasts out forward from him, and it doesn't make sense to have that, but you're hitting things behind you. Okay, so I think those are to stay. 方向指定のせいでコンテンツ作り難しくなってじゃん。Okay. This person is saying, with positionals, it is hard to create content, especially high level raid bosses. That is kind of true. That is kind of true. Like, for example, the most recent primal, which is Diamond Weapon, where he just basically floats in the middle of two platforms and his back is essentially non-existent. He's facing mid-air. He's like facing empty space. You cannot get into there. You cannot do your positionals. But the work around it is that Yoshida allows us to do those positionals at the side as well. Yeah, that's a workaround. Haven't you been keeping up to date with the latest patches? なかったらことにした方がのびのびギミック考えられそう。Yeah, I mean, it has been removed on some bosses, positionals. なくなったら確実に火力下げられるけどいいの? If you remove it, your DPS is gonna drop. I think this guy doesn't really get it. No, it's not about that. It's about removing the positionals but still maintaining the maximum amount of damage, as if you had executed that position correctly. Yeah. Ooh. Let's see. This one. MMO で目押しなんかしたらサーバー死んじゃう。Okay. So if you just press buttons without doing anything, yeah, you're gonna lose your player base. I think, I'm not sure about you guys, but I think positions are a great thing. It's something. No, the thing is, Final Fantasy XIV doesn't throw you into the deep end straight away. If you start off slow from level 1 going up and not buying the class, not having a character boost, not having a job boost, all right, because if you do a job boost, you're going to end up in level 70, right? I believe it's 70 for $50 or $60. I can't remember, man. That's and what you're going to end up, okay, this isn't so much of an issue for, let's say, tanks or healers. All you have to do is spend about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, all right, just healing or tanking. But if you were to do a boost on a melee character, it will take you a long time to get used to it. But the good thing is that even though you don't execute it correctly, let's say if you're a monk and you're like, okay, fuck positionals, I'm gonna sit at the back and just punch. Yeah, sure, you can do that. You're not doing the optimum amount of damage, but you are not punished for it. Not punished in the sense that you can execute your next ability. You still can execute your next ability. It's just that it's just not powerful enough. That is okay. That is okay to me, right? You're given a choice. You're given a choice, right? So this is an interesting, and I bet if this, I'm pretty sure this is discussed on the English forums as well. This is cropped up before, and I'm glad that Japanese people are also thinking along the same lines as well. It's healthy discussion, right? Everyone has different opinions on what should be right and wrong in a game. For me personally, positionals are good. It's fun. It makes it fun. If you were to remove that, I wouldn't play my monk anymore, really. It's boring. Okay, let's see. What's the most upvoted? フォーラムでスイッチないコンテンツの ST みたいな存在したいってことですかみたいに言ってるやついるけど、マジでそれ。Yeah. Basically, if you have played as an off tank, and then there's a main tank over there, and there is a boss that does not require a tank switch at all, the off tank feels silly. You're just standing there and just playing with yourself. Basically, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe dot a little bit. Yeah, that's how it can feel. That's how it can feel. ないんだ。方向指定は決して、I think that's 決して面白い要素ではないんだが、これがないと確実につまらなくなる。Yes. Yes. It is interesting to have that aspect in this game. To have that aspect in an MMO game. Without it, it can be boring. 他に面白い要素入れてくればな。Oh, this person is saying, put in more stuff like this that makes it interesting, that gives Final Fantasy XIV jobs and classes their identity. And I agree with that. Monks wouldn't be the way they are without positionals. Right? Because if everyone did not have positionals in Melee, it's just a different skin and just different animations. That's it. It just doesn't feel the same. One problem with this, though, I must say that if positions are here to stay, then they have to fix. Yeah, I think they already did fix PvP. Because in PvP, you cannot afford to be behind someone. You cannot afford to be beside someone. He's moving so erratically, and with the lag, it's going to be ridiculous. So what Yoshi P has done is remove those requirements, and all you have to do is just press 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, or 2, 2, 2, 2. I guess it's a workaround. There's a good side and there's a bad side to it. Positionals are great for PvE. I think it makes it awesome. Makes it a lot more interesting, and there's a skill ceiling is so high. But when it comes to PvP, it has to be removed. It has to be removed. Otherwise, it's just so clunky. No one would play. Even right now, no one really plays melee in PvP. They do, but it's Dragoon. It's it's classes that are able to jump in and get out very quickly, and the only one who can do it is Dragoon. Alright. こんだけ他ジョブから声が上がるってことは、現状一番難しい DPS は近接で相違ってことか。Okay, so other people from other jobs, players from other jobs, they raise this topic, they are talking about this, and then they all come into the same agreement that the most difficult DPS to play in Final Fantasy XIV are the melee. Let me see. I think this is not entirely true. If you were to compare a bard, sure. If you were to compare a bard with a samurai is freaking complex, right? If you were to compare a bard with a samurai, or a bard with, let's say, a ninja, yeah, of course, a ninja is going to be difficult. But if you compare something like, Summoner, at the start, it was very disorienting. Summoner was kind of disorienting, but right now I'm used to it. It's actually easy on a Summoner. You can move around a lot while casting your stuff, and your DPS is respectable. Let's say Black Mage. Now, Black Mage is not easy. At some point, throughout the history of Final Fantasy XIV, I've mained almost every class except in Ninja I did. So I've mained, but what I mean by main is I've at least played it solely for like just only that class for like 2 or 3 months at least, hardcore. Black Mage is not easy. But if you were to compare Black Mage, Summoner, Bard, what else? Dancer, with the rest of the melee DPS, yes, melee DPSs are generally more difficult. 近接の人たちは使いこなせてるからフォーラムにはいなかったわ。Okay. Some people are not able to fully use. Some players are not fully able to utilize the potential of melee. So you don't really see them on the forums. That's what this guy is saying. Yeah. I mean, melee is not for everyone. I can say like range, everyone is able to do range relatively well. Except for Black Mage. It takes a long time to be able to figure out, can I stand in this AoE a little bit longer? Does it actually hurt? When can I actually move? It's very deep when it comes to Black Mages. The thing is, I just think that people are kind of afraid of trying out melee. It is awesome. There's a reason why I like Monk. And I also love Samurai. There is this impact that just cannot be said off the same for ranged. Right? You're doing, let's say, Samurai. You're doing your what was that? I can't remember the name. The one where you get 3 stickers and then you go like whoosh, whoosh, you just cannot beat that sound effect and that impact and that DPS. If you're on a bard, if you're on a dancer, wow, you just cannot beat that. It's like whoosh, whoosh. And then for a dragoon, it's like whoosh, you jump up and then you just slam down into the ground. That's awesome. How can you even replicate that for ranged? Yeah, I think more people should actually try. Kinsetsu, melee. The only problem is if there's too much of them, that is a huge that will you run into trouble, especially when it comes to like Savage raids where they target your characters and then they put down the AoE and you have to move out of the way. If there are a lot of melees, what's gonna happen is it'll be a mess. It's just crazy. Yeah. Let's see, what else is there? 操作簡単にしたジョブって結構 I forgot what this word is. Okay, basically, so what it means is any kind of job that is simple is generally welcomed. Not really. Look at Dancer. Dancer is pretty simple, to be honest. No offense out there. It's easy. It's easy to play. It's ranged, and it's RNG focused. Japanese players do play. I do notice there are a lot of dancers, and I guess it's something that I don't fully understand. It is the only one class that I have not mained. Yeah. 近接不足よく見るし、緩和した方がいいだろう。緩和した方がいいだろう。Yeah. So he's saying that there is a lack of melee. So it might be good to just remove the positionals. When it comes to MMORPGs, any sort, maybe whether it's like Guild Wars or Aeon or Warcraft, the large majority of people are going to gravitate towards. There's going to be more ranged people than melee, regardless of requirement, regardless of positionals. And I don't know. Think I think it's not really a problem. This is just a matter of taste. Some people like to just stay at the back. You know, they feel safe, which sometimes it's actually not. They feel safe shooting from a distance. You know, you don't have to deal with some mechanics, especially up close. It's more mechanically intense. I agree. But I think, yeah. Kinsetsu works. Is there really a shortage of melee? I don't really think so. There's definitely going to be people who want that extra level of difficulty, because what makes a good game that has classes is a wide range of difficulties that cater to different types of people. From, let's say, the dancers, right? Dancer, I'm gonna be honest, dancer is kind of easy, right? Dancer, and then you go up to the more difficult ones, ranged, and then melee. All right. Right. In terms of difficulty, why not? Let's like in let's try and put it into perspective. I'm gonna go off tangent for a little bit over here and discuss. Right. Let's see. FF14 tier maker. Right. In terms of difficulty, right? This is not going to be which does more damage. In terms of difficulty, S, A, B, C, D. D is going to be the easiest class, all right? What's this alignment chart? Nah, okay, not community rank. What is this? Oh, you mean the S class? Okay, this is like damage. Okay, I'm gonna put like a difficulty. Is there a way to actually change this? Okay, it's okay. Okay, so S is gonna be the most difficult class mechanically, all right, and D is gonna be the easiest. This is taking into account positionals as well. All right, let's see. We're gonna be okay. First off, I'm going off tangent, but why not, right? This is stream. Let's start off with the healers. So that's Astrologian, White Mage, and Scholar. White Mage is, well, considered one of the easiest. Basically, because they have large heals, very powerful AoE healing, and even their single healing is decent. It's decent, right? Because most times you wouldn't need super powerful single healing unless you're doing savage raids. So, but it's also, I'm not saying that it's super simple, because it is deceptively difficult, mainly because it's like the black mage version of healing. You have to know when to heal, because you're slow, right? You need to know when the boss is going to do the landslide, when Titan is going to smash you smash the tank pretty hard, when the tank is actually going to take damage, and you got to prepare, because you don't have instant heals at your disposal, not all the time. So I'm going to put this C. Okay, I'm going to put this about C. I would say that B is like average, S is like difficult. S would be something like, if you would throw this class at level 80 to a new player, how much time it would require them to be good at it, right? S would take the longest, D would take the least amount of time. Between Astrologian and Scholar, I used to main Scholar. During my raiding days, I main Scholar. The thing about Scholar is a lot of people do not know how to play the job well. You have to have your shields up before damage comes. You do not heal after damage comes, right? You do not give your shields after damage has occurred. So you need to be able to understand when the boss is hitting your raid with a huge ass blast, or he's gonna hit your tank pretty hard. Sometimes there are no tells, So it's definitely a little bit more difficult. Now, Astrologian, you're playing your cards, you're looking at a lot of different stuff, and their AOE, their signature, the stellar constellation, things that blows up. If you want to make full potential use out of this, it is kind of difficult. And for a new player, yeah, I'm gonna put this like that. That's for me. That's for my opinion. All right. Okay. Next, on to the tanks in terms of difficulty. Of all the tanks, the simplest one, the one with the least amount of abilities, is going to be the warrior. The warrior is kind of easy. Yeah, it's good for beginners. Easy does not mean that it is bad. It can do its job well. Right? The amount of buttons that you press compared to the rest of them, yeah, it's quite little. Let's see. What about Dark Knight? Okay, I am going to put this up high. All right. Okay, this is kind of difficult. This is kind of difficult because hold on, I'm just checking. Okay, always have to check whether my stream is still up, because yeah, I don't want this to just disappear. All right, because it's happened before when I was streaming on Twitch and suddenly the whole stream went down and I have no idea. Always have to check. Okay, and then I'm just is Gunbreaker as difficult as Astrologian? It's like comparing apples and oranges, right? But to me, it is kind of clear cut. The amount of things that you have to do as a tank, controlling hate, maintaining aggro, using your buffs, doing your skill rotation, Gunbreaker is pretty hard. Okay, so I'm going to put it up there. It's definitely harder than Astrologian. Okay, now this one, I'm not sure. Let's see. I can actually move this thing around. Can I move this? Yeah, okay. Can move it here. Move it over here. Okay. Dark Knights. Dark Knights started off easy, but managing that mana is no simple feat. Oof, I'm gonna put it somewhere. Is it as tough as Astrologian? Yeah. To be honest, if you play any class for long enough, it's all gonna be D. It's all gonna be easy most of the time. But this is looking at from a new player's perspective. I would say over here, something like this. Actually, the two of them are very close, but simply because Dark Knight has more off GCDs, so you have to weave it in and you have to make sure that your mana is because you're sharing that mana with your barrier, the Darkest Knight, when with your attacks as well. So you gotta balance between attacking and defending sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna put it here. All right, so next is DPSs, and Dancer, straight off the bat, easiest. Monks is A, definitely. Samurai, where's Samurai? Samurai, as you guys call it, but Samurai. Samurai. Alright. Samurai is S. It is difficult. It is tough. The amount of I think what makes Samurai difficult is the positionals. Not to mention the 1 minute long dot. The 1 minute long dot makes it tough to adjust around. For a new player, it is overwhelming. And if you do it wrong, your DPS drops. Your DPS drops a lot. Because if you accidentally that big slash, the one where you do after your three stickers, if you do it wrong and you do that on a 2 sticker, yeah, you're just gonna drop a lot. Whereas for a monk, the only time that you screw up is basically your positionals, but you're still doing damage. It's not as bad. Dragoon is somewhere here, I would say. Ninja would be... This is kind of difficult. Ninja, I believe melee classes are not that simple, right? So okay, Bard, I would say around here. Bard is not too tough. Black Mage is up there, definitely. Machinist is about here. Machinist is not very difficult. Not very difficult. And Machinist is not very difficult. Red Mage is not very difficult as well. Kind of easy to play. Summoner, roughly about here or here. It took me a very long time to get used to level 80 rotation. So I would guess around here. Yes, it's about here. Alright, so taking this into account, people kind of... it's very strange. People are saying that positionals make it a lot more difficult. But if I were to look at this, and the difficulty that's involved, it's not very different from a lot of the other classes. Granted, okay, like, you know, let's say a red mage, a machinist, or a bard is simpler than, let's say, a dragoon. But if you are already playing a summoner, it is not so difficult. It is not so difficult to play the other classes over here, at least in my opinion. Now, if you are able to play a black mage well, then you can pretty much play these melees. No problem. No problem. Positionals taking that into account. Yeah. So yeah. I like this. Okay. I'll just leave this open for now. 逆にレンジにも適正距離要素を入れよう。Oh. This person is saying, okay, put in some positionals for range. Nah, it's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be that simple. Because there are some times where... that's not cut it. Let's go. If you need to move from the back to the side of the enemy, as a melee DPS, you just need to shuffle a little bit. But as a range, that is just too much. The distance is too great, and you have to do mechanics as well. Nah. Okay. 命令5つもあるんだから、多い、少ない、ないの5段階にすればみんな嬉しい。Okay. So this person is saying there are 5 melees. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be Reaper as well. So what he's saying is he wants to have positionals, to have classes that has a lot of positionals, like Monk. Some that have few, which is like most of the other melees, and then none at all. Okay. Yeah. それで Reaper 方向してないかもしれない。Okay. So Reaper doesn't have positionals. You know what's gonna happen? A lot of people are gonna play Reaper. I mean, right now, almost everyone is hyped up. Even my wife wants to play Reaper. Because it looks cool, it looks edgy, it looks badass. But if you were to remove the positionals for Reaper, you're only going to see Reapers. Because it looks cool, does a lot of damage, I bet. Don't tell me that you don't tell me that you're going to use a huge ass scythe and then just going to do like 1 damage. No, it's going to do decent. And then no positionals. What's going to happen? There's going to be an imbalance. Right now, the game is... Final Fantasy is one of the very few MMORPGs out there right now that does class balance very well. So when you go into a raid, 24 mans or 8 mans, chances are you're going to see a wide variety of classes. Yeah, sure, there are some that are popular like machinist or dancer, but having a non-positional reaper, yeah, it's going to create a lot of chaos. All the melees are going to jump on board as well. All the range are going to try it out as well. Yeah, not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Yushida would allow that to happen in the first place. タンクからしても発信してほしいわ。円環 only party no. Yeah, okay. Alright, anyway, let's move on. What about this? So positionals, very contentious issue. But for me, I like it. It makes the game different. It makes the melee feel badass already. I love it. Any melee main would agree with me. Positionals are good. Positionals are fun. 新生メインクエストはデコ入れされたとはいえ、今でもつまらないという事実。Okay, so the topic is the main quest, ARR main quest, Realm Reborn main quest has been changed, but even now it is boring. You see, even Japanese people think the same. They also find it boring. I'm gonna go through this. Let's see. ストーリーがつまらないというより、お使いがだるすぎ。Okay. So what it means is that the story, rather than the story boring, it's the pacing that is kind of slow. And I agree with that. The story is manageable because they have to build up. They are introducing a whole world to you with lore, and characters, right? And politics along with that. There is a lot of background that goes into this game, and as a new player you are bombarded with all of this. It takes a bit of time, but the story is fun. Like towards the end it is interesting. It can be a drag at first, but that is because you need to introduce characters, right? You do not know, who's this Thancred, he looks kind of strange, who the hell is he? He has a whole lot of, what he did in 1.0 and stuff like that, Minfilia, a lot of stuff. So story is not too bad. The pacing, that one I kind of agree, especially when it comes to Castrum and Praetorium. Castrum and Praetorium, I like cutscenes. If it's done tastefully and sparse, not too much, because it does bog down the gameplay, especially when you have to do the same thing over and over again, and you are taking up other players' time. Now, Praetorium and Castrum. This is one gripe that I have with Final Fantasy XIV. It's not a perfect game, right? Praetorium and Castrum have a lot of cutscenes in them, and these cutscenes take up a lot of time. Extremely, it's so much that it can be boring. I mean, let's face it. If you run Castrum Praetorium, you know what I mean, right? For the first time, it was fun. It was glorious. It was like your very first exposure to being in an 8-man party and going to take down a big bad boss. It was fun. But then to do it again and again and again, yeah. And the problem is, this can be solved. They even have a main story. We even have a main story roulette. Why is this required? If you design Praetorium and Castrum elegantly so that they do not require cutscenes, maybe just NPCs running around, saying stuff while you're actually you actually have something to do, it's a lot more engaging. It's like when you're in the Dungeons and Dragons game, right? D&D. And the DM goes for like 5 minutes on this lore drop on you guys, and then you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs. You cannot do anything except listen to him, and then you're checking your phone. It is the same for Castrum and Praetorium, basically. The cutscenes are so much that you are just forced to sit there. You can't even roll dice because it's not a D&D. And the pacing is generally just bad. It's terrible. It's terrible. It has been close to, I don't know how many years it's been since 2.0. It's high time they streamline Castrum and Praetorium. Just make them NPCs running around, and that way you don't need a roulette. You don't need to have 8 people standing there just wasting time queuing for the sake of getting tombstones. Right? Yeah, the pacing. But from Yoshida's point of view, from his perspective, I guess they're kind of new at this. After that, they cut down on cutscenes drastically. I only wish that they go back and revisit those systems and change it. Level 20くらいやけど、お使いばかりで今のところつまらん。Okay. They kind of lead your hand. They kind of like tell you where to go. Basically too easy. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with that. It is kind of easy, but it's because of that players who have never played MMOs started to play this game. Not really a bad thing. Main quest が長すぎるし、だるすぎるんでやめたわ. Okay, so this person gave up because the main quest was just too long, and then the pacing was just too bad. 課金で飛ばせるやんけ? Okay, so he's asking, is it possible to skip the story? If you actually have to put up an item. Now I understand Mock Station is managed by a team separate from Yoshida's development team. Is managed separate, right? That's why they have this annoying thing that's the Mock Station, that you have to go into the website and it's not integrated into the game itself. To actually have an item to skip the story. Yeah, I mean, obviously they recognize how long the story can be, and people actually wish to skip it, to pay money to skip your story. Yeah, it means you got to work on it, right? And the fact that you are trying to actively trying to make money out of this it's just, yeah, it's a little bit unscrupulous, if you were to ask me. ステルで買ってみたけど、お使いクエストやってるけど、だけで、yeah. Because they kind of, the pacing is just, like, I've talked to friends who have played Final Fantasy XIV, and who have quit at the start. There are a lot. It's slow. At the start, it's slow. And don't you ever tell me that, okay, Heaven's Ward is where it gets up. You should just make it through the main story. No, that is poor design. If I had to play like 100 hours worth of gameplay in order to experience what is better later, that is poor design. Do it right from the start. All right, it is slow, and a lot of people quit because of that. I have an American friend, who stopped at level 20. He also quit at level 20. He says it's just so boring. And then after much convincing, years later he came back, and then he got through the story, and then he says it is one of the best games that he has ever played. Yeah, you see, I mean, right at the start you already turn people off from the game because of your pacing. Then Yeah, I mean, and it's not like it's a well-known fact that ARR is not very enjoyable, right? And word gets around, and people have to, in order to play the game, they heard, okay, the base game is boring, but the rest is nice. They have to sit through all of that. I mean, of course, some people enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy it. But your first new players would first be presented with a barrier. They know right at the start it's going to be boring. They have to convince themselves that it's worth investing their time into the game, which I totally agree. You should invest in this game, but there is an initial barrier right there. And I think they should revisit these original areas and make it a lot more interesting. But it doesn't make money, so 面白くなるのは雪国の石がある行ってからだぞ。Yeah, things get interesting when you go to Ishikar. 親切しな誰も認めるゴミ. This person is saying ARR is trash. Yeah, I agree. Oh, trash would be a little bit harsh, but it is hard to stomach. Let's see. めちゃめちゃおもろいで. Okay, let's move on. I mean, it's a fact, right? Everyone knows it. Even Japanese people, they know it. Okay. FF14 を始めるから迷ってるんだけど、人に話しかけるのが嫌な why でも楽しめるの. Okay, now this is the thing that has cropped up in Japanese forums. That I find that is interesting in the sense that there are players who do not wish to communicate with others. They enjoy the single player experience. Why then do you play an MMO? Well, that is a very good question. When you play an MMORPG, your experience is going to be largely based on the community, right? If you go to the Elemental server, you're going to have a good mix of Japanese culture and English. If you go to a Japanese data center and play, everyone is going to be silent, and even the Gaikokujin, even our fellow foreigners who don't belong in the Japanese data centers, we are very quiet. Even in a link shell full of English speakers in the Japanese data centers, we are quiet, right? So different people have different ways of playing the game, and generally the amount of Japanese players who do not wish to talk to other people are higher than the American servers. Right? So this guy is asking, am I able to enjoy the game? If I don't talk to other people, can I enjoy Final Fantasy XIV? Sure, you can. The good thing about Final Fantasy XIV is that there is a story that you can follow along, and there's just a lot of things to do. Basically, MMORPGs don't strictly require you to communicate with other people. I mean, I understand in Japan there are a lot of needs, there are a lot of hikikomori, they are bad at social interaction, but Final Fantasy XIV allows you to do that. You can just play the game alone, right? 一人でも FF で楽しめる. Of course you can. Except when it comes to end content, right? End game content, you have to talk to other people, work out strategies, what's wrong. But for the most, you do feel like you're playing a single player game on Japanese data centers. This is especially true. If you go to Limsa Lominsa, it is dead quiet. Like I did on a video the other day. It is dead quiet. So it feels like a single player game. 完全にソロでやりたいからDrag Quest. Okay, yeah. If you want to play a solo experience, just go and play Dragon Quest X. Alright, wise words. Final Fantasy XIV は多少は他プレイヤーとのパーティーが強制されるから。So FF14, you have to partner up with other people to tackle content. Yeah, but even so, if you play with other people, you don't really socialize with them. You also you can kind of treat them like bots, right? I'm just surprised that there are people who actually like this, who actually exist. But yeah, you can enjoy the game. Definitely. Playing solo. 白丸し多い。やりたがる姫ちゃんが多い理由。Okay. For this, okay. Hime-chan in Japanese, it means, how would you say? There are stereotypes for Hime-chan. All right. So to explain this, is that it has to be a real life girl. A girl that always plays a white mage. A girl that is not very skilled, who is always constantly reminding other people that she is a real girl. that is their definition of Hime-chan. Alright, so that is a Hime-chan. A girl that plays white mage. Alright, so so why are there a lot of girls who like to play white mage? Off the bat, I can just think of several reasons. One, healing is not so stressful, and you're supporting the party, which my wife, a lot of women actually like helping out parties in different ways, not just attacking and bashing things down. And healing is one of them. White mage just has that elegant feeling that fits. That's kind of like this feminine vibe that I get. So that's what I'm going to assume. But let's see what people say. Okay, when it's in pink, I think it is. When it's in pink, it means that the person is a girl, right? A woman. What am I saying? A girl. So, why do women like playing white mages? 学はなんか真面目で可愛くない感じるあるから。Okay. So this woman is saying that scholar is a very serious class. It is not cute. Okay? Fair enough. 個人的に personally に抵抗できるのは Okay. What? Okay, personally, any Hime-chan who kind of denies, who is resistant, who does not like Snow White, or the kind of the image of a snowy princess, a white princess, is an old princess. Okay, I get what I mean. Anyone who doesn't like the image of a kind of like a graceful white princess is basically an old woman. Okay. Effect と綺麗だし. Okay, so it's beautiful. The effects are beautiful. No denying that. Holy is beautiful. And then what's that? A size where you spin around and then you heal everyone while damaging the enemies. That is gorgeous. Party man にカードあるし. Okay, AF kawaii. Okay, the artifact armor is cute. Yeah, it's not bad compared to, let's say, Scholar. Scholars are shafted, man. Yeah, white mages, they look good in their artifact armor. Is this 占うを上手く使えるようにしといて、ザクを夢にさつけろ。 Okay, I don't really understand what that means. 白は人口が多い上に白いしか出ないが多いからな。Ooh. So there are a lot of people who play white mages, but there are also some who only play white mages only in the game. Yes, that is quite true on the Japanese servers, where you go and check the information of the players that you're playing with. Some of them only have white mages. They do not want to play other healers as well. So, 姫ちゃんがどうとかじゃなくて学自体がokay. So white mages, it's not about the popularity of white mages. More than that, rather it's the scholars who are not popular, and I kind of agree with that. Right? Scholars are one of the least popular classes, healing classes out there. Poor scholars. I like scholars. やるまではなんか難しそうに見えるからな。学も。Okay. Well, what's this? 姫がアビヒール使いことなせるわけないんだろう。白ですら。アビもインスタントも忘れてくってヒールしてるのに。Shit, this guy is savage. He's saying like okay. This one is too toxic. This one is too toxic. It's basically saying like this guy is the real Japanese internet. Alright. This guy is saying like girls who cannot play white mages, they can't even use their instant abilities. If they cannot do that, they can't even play scholars or astrologians. This one is quite toxic. Yeah. You're able to grow wings. The angel wings, and it's beautiful. Perfect for Hime-chan. Stone Arrow 時代はともかく yeah, okay. I mean, the days where you had to do stone, that was ugly, he's saying. And nowadays you just do glare, which is beautiful. Yeah, okay. But in actual fact, it looks like a gorilla. Like a gorilla job. Okay. Wow, what is this? 366 comments. 平和なのはもうガヤDCしかないもん。Data center. The only peaceful data center is Gaia. Mana data center, which I'm in. 中国ユーザーが増えてすぎてやばいんだが。So there are a lot of Chinese players that are starting to play Final Fantasy on the Mana data center. And if you guys have kept up with politics and international relations, that Japan and China are not exactly best friends. Yeah, goes for the people as well. This is probably the last before I try and jump into the game. Mana wa mo chuka mira. Okay, here's the thing that I've been wanting to make a video for the longest time. Let me go FF14 data center. Server status. Okay, so North American data centers, European data centers, and Japanese data centers, right? Okay, so right now, the problem is that there are players who come from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, Oceanic region, Southeast Asia. We did not have a choice. It was either North American servers or Japanese servers. So it was North American data centers, right? If you want to speak English, then North American. The only problem is, oh shit, what is this? All congested. Whew. But look at the Japanese data center, it's almost like normal. Wow, it's all congested. No one can make a new character. Wow, this is insane. So for us Oceanic players, if we chose the North American data centers, yeah, it's okay, but the lag is terrible. It is like close to 200 ms, which means instant death when you're playing Titan Extreme, right? Because when landslide and that's it, you're gone, you're dead. So we chose Japanese data centers because the ping is just much less over there. And what happened was, word got around that if you want to play on an English, well, where all the English players gather, you would go to Elemental server, Tonberry. And so Australians, New Zealanders, all of us, all went to Tonberry. What happened? What do you think happened? The server, I'm going to look at Lucky Bancho Tonberry. Tonberry at the start of 2.0 was roughly about 80% or 70% Japanese players, and there was just a small gathering of English players. And so what happened was, over time, word got around that Tonberry is a place for English players. Come, let's go. And then it became like this. Nowadays it is 65% English players and Japanese 25%. For the English players, they were like, yeah, all right, we got a new home. Oh, and I like anime. I like Japanese stuff. I'm a Japanophile. Yeah, I can go in here and talk with English people and Japanese people. Why not? That's great. Yeah, they're celebrating. Everything is good for them. What about the Japanese people? The people, the players on Elemental, they were playing, right? They were queuing up for dungeons, and then, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, they greet each other. Oh, very Japanese. They click on the Japanese only tab. So I'm just going to fire up. Hold on, let me see. I'm just going to fire up Final Fantasy in the first place, and I'll show you guys. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. I shouldn't even see this, but I mean, who cares? Let's see. Okay, I'll just go in there. All right, very quickly. Oops. So when you queue for dungeons, you can choose language, right? Japanese, English, German, or French. All right. So, hold on. Let me just change mana. Yeah, this is my main. I'm gonna log in. And this is my character. Go in. So, Japanese players would just click on J, because they want to play with with fellow people in Japan. They don't know how to speak English. They don't know how to speak German or French, so they click on J. What about the English players on Tonberry? They go like, yeah, I want to play with English players. Okay, I'll show you guys, right? To illustrate this a little bit better. So, all right. So let's say I want to queue for expert. Where's the language? Yeah, see, language option over here, JEDF. So what happened was, Japanese players, they click on this, confirm, and they queued, right? Yeah, it was all good, fine and dandy. And then English players, they're like, okay, I speak a little bit of Japanese because I watch anime. I can say konnichiwa, I can say ohayo, yeah, sure, why not, J. And I'm on a Japanese server as well. I'm interested in Japan. If I meet Japanese players, yeah, why not? And then just for as a fail safe, I want the queues to go faster. Yeah, DNF, why not? Confirm. And then and then press join. So what is going to happen? What happened was that Japanese players who wanted to have a Japanese language environment were forced to play with English players. They click on J only, but they click on this only. They click on this only, but they still met players who clearly didn't understand Japanese. Now, for an average dungeon, this doesn't really matter, right? Because you just go in, you just pull, and then you just attack, kill stuff, kill the boss, finish. But when it comes to more difficult content, back then it was Titan, Ifrit, Extreme, and you could actually queue for this. And it was frustrating. Japanese players could discuss strategies only in Japanese. And English players were like sitting over there very quietly. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Why can't we? Why are we dying and all of this? You know, they were clearly frustrated. Yeah. So Tonberry had a tragic. Some people think it's good. You know, you have a home at last on a Japanese data center. But on the whole, stop thinking about yourself, think about the rest of other people. On the whole, Elemental suffered. I mean, granted, they should have made an Oceanic server a long time ago. They should have done that. But it wasn't. And the 70% of Japanese were forced to leave. They left Tonberry because they just had enough. They just had enough of it. Alright? That was bad. And so these days when I play on Tonberry, like on the Elemental, the Japanese players are so different from the Japanese players in Mana. They are very different. Like I queue up for Mana. Okay, what happens is I'm in Chocobo, right? I queue up for a dungeon. I go in. Everyone greets. No exception. Everyone greets. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. When you go into a normal dungeon, 4 people will answer you. When you finish the dungeon, 4 people will otsukare-sama deshita. They will say it without fail. Most of the time, like 95%, always say that. But when I play on the Elemental server, like a few days ago, I created a new character. I wanted to speedrun on Tonberry just to meet some of my friends and play with them. I queued for a dungeon. I queued for a few dungeons. I went in silence, and then there were sometimes there were greetings, right? They were like, "Hello, everyone," and then the rest were like silence, nothing. I looked at the party member. I was thinking, okay, they were all probably English-speaking players because, you know, it is not common habit amongst English players to actually greet everyone at the start of a dungeon. So you go in. So I checked. And to my surprise, there were Japanese players. There were Japanese players in that party that did not say Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, did not say Otsukare-sama deshita. They did not greet at all. And this is fundamental. This is fundamental in their Japanese culture. Whatever they do, they always have to greet. Greeting is the most important thing that you can do at a workplace when you first turn up to a meeting or to work every day. All right. There's always that greeting. The Japanese players have been tuned, are so used to not greeting in the game that they think it's normal. The Japanese players on Elemental servers do not behave the same as Mana servers. Why? The answer? Tonberry. That's why. English players, they come in, they keep quiet, and then the Japanese players are coming and they say like Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, and then no one replies them. They think like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't say anything. And they think it's normal. So it's a little tragic, I find. So what is happening right now? Mana is slowly becoming like China. That's what this guy is saying. Okay. Macau, Taiwan, Singapore だけでも Ooh. Apparently Aegis. Aegis? What is Aegis? No, Aegis is here? Yeah. Aegis server. There is Hong Kong people, Macau, Taiwanese players, Singapore players. Ooh, that makes up a majority of them. Really? Oceania is also a lot. Yeah. You know what? It's a good thing that Endwalker is going to come with Oceanic servers. It's a good thing. And I hope English players would move out of Mana and Elemental and Gaia. Alright? I'm not really protecting them. I'm not going like must protect precious Japanese players and stuff. No. The fact that you guys are on here is disrupting everything else. Like people who do not know, who are new to the game. People who are new to the game come in here and they go like, oh, okay, I'll just choose Elemental, sounds nice, yeah, or long name, or okay, maybe Kabanko is nice. I go in, I want to play a Japanese game. Bam! All of this happens. And then they have no choice but to either move or just suffer through that. Of course, some people are okay, but it is disrupting. It is disrupting for them because Westerners and Japanese people, well, practices are very different. 英語通じないのもそこそこの割合でいる。いや。話してるやつを。いや。Okay. Apparently there's more and more. On Chocobo server, I do notice like there are some guilds out there that are just straight up. Hold on, let me just see. Yeah. So I do notice that some guilds, I'm not sure if you can actually see them, but there is a Dota guild. Dota. A lot of people. It was like close to 200 or so, and it's unlike Japanese FCs out there. We joined in, my wife and I joined in, and in a Japanese FC, what happens is that you go in, whenever you log in, you say Ohayo or Konnichiwa, you always greet. Remember, I tell you, in the Japanese server, greeting is the most important thing that you can do. Right? You leave a good impression. I'm guilty of that, sometimes I don't. So I go in and I greet. My wife and I, we went into this guild. I shouldn't actually say the guild, the FC's name, but we went in and then we greeted everyone. Oh, hajimemashite, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It's like, okay, everyone in Japanese, right? Hello everyone, nice to meet you, hope we can get well together. No one replied. And then we had a look at the FC members on there. They were writing in Japanese, but it was Japanese kanji, and then we were like, this is familiar. This is not a Japanese guild. This is a Chinese guild. My wife is Taiwanese, so she knows what is Chinese, what is China, and what is Taiwan, right? She could tell, and we left. There are more and more Chinese people playing this game, and it's kind of strange as well. Don't they have a Chinese version of Final Fantasy XIV? Yeah, I find it quite strange. And it's kind of sad that this is actually, because by nature Japanese people are shy, they are reserved. And when there are more, let's say, foreigners out there, they start to talk, Japanese players will start to shy away and move away from the server. It is... over here. I think it's kind of a sad situation. This one is interesting. Let's see. Elemental は英語性は多いけれども、話せば理解してくれるの割といるから。 Okay, so on the Elemental Data Center, there are a lot of English-speaking players, true, but if you speak in either English or Japanese, a lot of them actually are able to understand you, which is good. 英語力とコミュ力さえあれば割とどうにかなるけど、ないと何もかも終わり。Okay. So the Japanese education system, they study Japanese, they study a little bit of English. They can understand simple English. So if you are able to communicate in English just a little bit, you can get through most situations in the game in Final Fantasy XIV. But when it comes to Chinese, which is a totally different, even though they use the same kanji, the way they speak, the grammar structure sentence is different. It's hard to communicate. But even so, like, I don't really see a lot of people doing that over here. That's strange. I didn't know Mana is starting to have more Chinese people. Mana wa mato mo na Nihonjin wa shinai de katamatte shi. Mushi ga kihon dashite. Yeah, okay, this is bringing their politics into the gameplay. Yeah. Gaia wa Nihongo shabetteru no ni Nihongo tsujinai yatsu ga choi choi iru kara ichiban yabai. Gaia? Where is Gaia? Gaia. Oh. So he's saying that in Gaia, there are people who speak Japanese. At least they put out like advertisements in Japanese and stuff. But when they talk to them, they cannot communicate. Yeah, that's what happens when you use Google Translate, right? You use Google Translate, yeah, it's gonna be slow if you don't know Japanese. But why are Chinese players playing over here? I do know that in Japan there is a substantial proportion of players of people who are from China. So maybe that's the case, because over here we cannot access the Chinese servers unless you use a VPN, I think. And not many are willing to spend the amount of money to do that. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I just hope that the existence of Tonberry itself has affected the whole of Elemental. Alright. It's unfortunate, and I'm not blaming the English players. I was one of them as well. What I hoped would have happened earlier was that Yoshida made an Oceanic server. And it seems that even in World of Warcraft, Oceanic regions, Southeast Asia, we are always shafted, we are always screwed. We do not have our own servers for the longest time. But it's something to be fixed. Good, that's good. Alright, and I think that's enough for talking about this. I'm going to jump into Tonberry Speedrun. Okay, so why am I doing a Tonberry speedrun? Basically, as you guys can see, I'm on the Chocobo server, but some of my Singaporean friends are on Tonberry. I used to play on Tonberry. Let me just hold on. Let me just change this. Display capture off. Okay. I'm not sure you can. Yeah, okay. So I used to play on Tonberry server back when I was in Australia. My friend introduced me to the game. I tried it in 2.0, the release of 2.0, and then I played it. It was fun. When I got to Heaven's Ward, at least. And then, but I was on an Australian account. I was in Australia, and so I left and came over here to Japan. I stopped playing just took a very short hiatus, and so my character over there was level 60. And then what happened was there was some, at that time there was some events like 7-Eleven events, Family Mart events, that if you buy a certain amount of snacks, you can redeem a mount or redeem some kind of a prize in this game. And I tried to do that on my Australian account. They said no go, you have to do that on a Japanese account. And at that time I foresee myself being in Japan for at least a few years, who knows, maybe a decade or so. And so I decided, why not? I'll just make a new account. I'll just make a new Japanese account to you know, take advantage of the 7-Eleven promotions and others as well. And so if there are kind of like a Aosia Cafe promotions, I can also use it on my Japanese account. And at that time I also met my wife, and I kind of convinced her to play. she played along with me as well, and we made a Japanese account, and so we are here in Chocobo. I told her Chocobo is the premier raiding server. At that time we didn't have world visits, and so having a populated server is good because you can meet a lot of people and then just play with them. Yeah, nothing's worse than having a dead server, right? So we played over here, and now I realized that a lot of my Singaporean friends are in, well, at least my Twitch community is, they are in Tonberry. And Chocobo is not on the same data center as Tonberry. So whatever I do on stream, I'm not able to do with them. I cannot run raids, I cannot do dungeons, I cannot do treasure maps, I cannot go to the casino and just have fun with them. Nah, I cannot do any of that. Because my Australian account, I stopped paying for that. I don't want to pay for two separate subscriptions. And so I decided to make a new character in Tonberry. Dun dun, Elemental. And because I've essentially played this would be my third time playing through the story. It's gonna be fast. I'm skipping everything just to get to level 80 on my gladiator, or which is my knight. Knight in Japanese, a paladin in English. I'm gonna be aiming for three roles. One is a tank, which is the knight, fastest way to get up. DPS, probably monk. Yeah, fuck, I love monk. And then the healer is probably going to be, you know, because I don't want to make a second character. It's probably, if it's I'll think about it. Probably gonna be a white mage. Alright, anyway, let's go. It's time to speedrun this, and off we go. You know, World of Warcraft right now is experiencing a major decline in player base, whereas Final Fantasy has like experiencing a surge. I mean, just look at the numbers. Look at the numbers over here. Look at North America. It's saturated. You cannot create any new characters over here. This is crazy. It has never happened before. It's almost all of the servers. So you can create on Goblin, Zelaria, Midgardsormr. Oh shit, I can't. So what is happening right now is that there are more players trying to jump onto the FF14 bandwagon, and it has spilled over to the Japanese data center. So nowadays I still see some people shouting in the Mana data center, which is mostly, this is going to be mostly Japanese players. They are shouting like, oh, can you help me do this and do that? Nah, people are not going to reply you, man. They're spilling over to Mana data center, to Gaia data center as well. Okay, and off we go. No, we are going to burst through. We're gonna run through this as quickly as possible. Let's see. So I'm level 427. I still need to get my own chocobo. Not yet. I need to go to Adder's Nest, which is over here. Let's go. Let's see. Where is Bent Branch Meadows? Out there. Can I just teleport out of here? I don't think I can. Can I go out? Nah, I have to attune to everything, which I'm lazy to do. Let's go. I'm gonna move my UI a little bit. My HUD. I'm gonna move it up here. This thing. Yeah. Of all the towns in Final Fantasy XIV, I enjoy Gridania the most. I used to love Limsa Lominsa. There's so much people now, so many people now. Ooh, stuff that I can kill. Let's go. Kill. 1. I'm gonna ignore you, little ladybugs. Give me, yeah, 75 experience points. Let's go. Let's go. I wonder how far I'm able to get to today. I've got 11 mail. I don't know why. Probably should open it. It's probably the veteran rewards. Let's go. So this is the YouTube streaming. I must say it is very different from Twitch streaming. The feel overall, the chat box that I can see over here, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Molko, Gia Molko. Where am I supposed to go next? Over here. Where am I? Quarry Mill. Ah, Quarry Mill. Okay, okay. How do I get the Quarry Mill? It's been ages. Oh, okay, okay. Run, bunny, run. You know, because nowadays I have my classes all at level 80. I've not been here for the longest time. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say that I actually have not been here for like a months. Right now it is 11:53 Japanese time. I don't know if the server over here, I don't know how the peak hour is like over here, but certainly not now. This is Tonberry. I wonder if my old, yeah, let me see if anyone is around. I know my friends are around. Katate. Nah, not around. Yeah, so it's a weekday on a Thursday. Is it a Thursday? It's alright. It is Thursday. Yeah, Thursday weekday, and it's at this kind of hour. No one's gonna be around, but I'm gonna try anyway. Let's go. Ooh. It's been ages. Oh, okay, okay. I thought I saw some dots over there. Good to see people are running around. I remember this spot is a good way to earn money. I can't remember what to sell. But yeah, go there, click on stuff. Yeah. Earn. I've actually played a lot of different races before, but I like Bunny. Right now, I like Bunny. Okay. Oh wait, skipping this. Let's go. The reason why I'm skipping this is because I have done this twice. Literally, twice. This would be my third time going through, and honestly, twice is enough. Where's he going? Where's he going? Ah. Ooh. I kind of remember that if I play just the main story, what's going to happen is I'm going to be deposited at Hawker's Alley. You want me to go there? Yeah, okay, I'll teleport there. Speed. It's going to deposit me at about level 45. And at 45 to 50, there is a gap. I remember. There is a gap. There is a gap where I have to actually do Northern Tanalan fates to kind of plug in the gaps. I wonder how Limsa Luminsa is like during this hour. Not so many people, which is good. In fact, I don't really like so many people. Let's go. Run! Major Kibbles. I used to be called Moon Kitsuragi. But I changed my name. I'm called Major. Even I don't know how to pronounce my own name properly. But some of my friends call me Major Kibbles. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Or just Kibbles. Kibbles is fine. My wife is from Taiwan, so she doesn't really know what Kibbles means. And so she asked me, what is Kibbles? What does Kibbles mean? Hold on, fisherman's guild. What does Kibbles mean? Because I want to have the same name as you. Her name is called Ikumi Kibbles. And I told her it's Esa, dog food. She was so surprised. She was like, huh? What? Yeah. Why? Why really? Why did I choose Kibbles? You know, I wanted to be different. We all want to be different. I don't want to name myself like Naruto. I remember back in the day, people were calling themselves Elsa, Naruto, all those. I'm gonna admit, it's cringy names. I'm gonna be straightforward and just say it is cringy. Where am I supposed to go? Oh man. Oh wait. Western Lonosia, Outer Lonosia. Ah, okay. Oh, I should do my daily. Hold on. How do I... Duty finder is you leveling? Leveling is healer? There's a shortage of healers? On the JP servers, it's tanks, always tanks. Was there a shortage of healers? Okay. I'm gonna change my keybinds for a little bit. Shortcuts. What is this? No, I'm not looking for party finder. Although I should put party finder. What else? Gold saucer. Running over here. Let's run. Where is duty finder? I actually put this as I. Inventory, where's my inventory? Apply first, because I'm zoning in. My inventory is B, I believe. Let's see. Keybind. Shortcuts, inventory, where's inventory? Inventory is B. Gathering log. Okay, anyway. I remember I need to change this. Hold on. Target filters character, display no item settings, store all item interface, expanded. Yes, please. Retainer interface expanded. Yeah. Where is the place where I can skip cutscenes? Hold on. I can't remember. How do I skip cutscenes? Let's see. FF14 skip cutscenes. How to skip cutscenes? System. Escape character configuration control settings. control settings, skip playback. Okay, control settings. Is it over here? Skip, yes, scenario, skip playback. Okay, gotcha. There we go. Let's move. Bum bum bum. And I'm going to equip them. See, where am I supposed to go? Over there. I remember there is a hunt. There's a hunt marker over there. Some coral. Ooh. Run, girl, run. Can't wait to get my chocobo. Set of iron gear. It's strange, like running this place again, it just feels surreal. Ooh. Lucretia Scarlet. I realize there's a lot of people called Lucretia and I don't know why. Yeah, that's a no, that's a fate. What am I supposed to do here? Slay coal pups. Ah. Can I wait? You are level 32, I'm level 28. What is this, level 23? Yeah, why not? Actually, I'm kind of I just wanna kill stuff over here. Eesh. Can I get whiskers from here? Okay, let's go, let's do this. Oh, this is easy. Okay, yeah. The bard is attacking as well. Abomination. What the heck is Abomination? She's queuing up for something. Whip crap. Okay, gotta move out. Oh, I gotta kill that. Yeah, that dude is gonna get him. Oh no, he doesn't. Come on, Bard. You wanna attack? If you wanna attack, then do it. Don't just stand there. And I aggroed another mob, which I don't really care. Okay, done. Ah, crap. Out of range, is it? Come on. Yes, go. Why is there a bumble beetle? Okay. Just two more. This is nostalgic. It's been so long since I had to actually be in a low level place and then attacking pups while worrying about pulling too much mobs. Okay, there we go. Gotta go back. Can I teleport? Nah. I'm gonna be spending all my money teleporting around. Am I going the correct way? Okay, kobolds. Stay far away from them. Don't mess with kobolds, man. They can beat your ass. If you've played Dungeons and Dragons, you know kobolds are no joke. They'll swarm 12. Let me see. Okay, okay. Just one or over 1 o'clock? Oh, okay, okay. I see, I see. Hold on. Oh, wow. Hi. Oh, thank you. What was that? Thank you. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I just heard a kind of a notification. Let's see. Okay, so basically I'll have to go in about 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So I'm gonna be quick. I have to be quick. Because I need to have lunch with my wife who has just finished her seminar. Ooh, what's this? Scrotum. What? Iron Scutum. Iron Scutum. What did you just say? Final Fantasy? What did you just make me say? Oh my god. Ah, unattuned! Why? Why? Quarry Mill? Unattuned! Oh shit, I gotta go to New Britannia and... Oh. Jeez. Jeez. What actually happened? Hold on, let me just have a look. What did you just say? Final Fantasy? What did you just make me say? Thank you for the thumbs up. Yeah. Hey Lux, how are you doing? Yeah, cause I'm in such a rush to get to level 80. I was like just doing quests only. Yeah, just doing quests and I forgot to attune for anything. Oh, okay, recommended too. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know how YouTube algorithm works. But yeah, so normally I stream on Twitch and then now I'm streaming. I'm trying to stream on YouTube just to have a feel to see how it's like. It's very different. So do you play Final Fantasy XIV, Lux? Because what I'm doing right now is this is my third character. This is actually my third character. In order to play with my friends, I jump onto Tonberry, create a new character. Yeah, because my main is actually in Chocobo server. So I'm just speed running through this because I've seen this story lots of times, and I'm a cheapskate. Yeah, I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to buy the story skip because that costs money. And first I need to attune. Oof. Hi there. I understand the quest can get boring. End game is fun if you like to raid. Yeah, well, I've done this. I've already got all of my characters at level 80, so I'm just running through all of this again. Yeah. Oh, you played since 1.0. Wow, you're a legacy player? Cool. That is cool. Wow, how was it like in 1.0? I've never... I only started playing 2.0. Yeah, so after Delamut crashed down. So I didn't know how 1.0 was like. I heard it was I heard it was bad. I'm on Balmong and yes, save that money. Yeah. Oh, Balmong. Okay, I see. The Balmong, you guys have like a, what was it? An RP section, right? You guys go to the Waking Sands and then have fun over there. The other day I was very curious and I went on, I think it was Balmong. Yeah, and then I went into the Waking Sands dressed, you know, my bunny girl, sexy, and I was like, oh shit, there was a lot of people talking in there. Yeah. Yep, Legacy Guru, cool. You got a tattoo. Is that the neck tattoo? I heard it was a tattoo, but I don't know on which part of the body you actually have the tattoo. And Choco O, whoa, what's Choco O? And some titles. Nice. Oh my god, I think you are the first player that the first legacy player that I actually know. I don't know anyone who's a legacy player. Cool. And the fact that you actually played through, that means your character's name is in the ending credits, right? That is cool as. Awesome. Wow. Legend. Yeah, I wish I got those. But then again, I didn't hear... Actually, I heard about Final Fantasy 1.0 back then. I was a Final Fantasy fan, but I heard bad reviews. And it was like, for me, I play games based off of the reviews. If the game has a good review, chances are I'm gonna enjoy it. Chances are I'm gonna enjoy it. Back then it wasn't that good, so that's why I didn't bother. It was only 2.0. My friend introduced me to it, and then he said like, oh, give it a try. And then yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It's been awesome since then. Okay. Yes, it's a tattoo just below the neck above the back. Oh, so it's kind of like the Scions. The Scions? Sorry, Scions. In the Japanese version, it's called Akatsuki. Akatsuki. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I want one of those. Do they sell that? They probably don't sell that at all. Yeah, I think it's for legacy players. Kind of like yeah, for the people who stood with them. It's cool. Is Balmong is one of the biggest servers around, right? Yeah, I think the American servers. It's just the things that you guys do are crazy over there. Oh man, do I have to queue? No, I don't think I have to queue. I just have to investigate. If I remember this correctly, I just have to investigate. I don't have to queue. I'm just running. Run, bunny, run! Yeah, Legacy Gubu. What's Choco O? What's a Choco O? Yeah, that's something that I do not know. The titles, okay, I can understand. What is Choco O? Yeah, Legacy only, but I think they should add more tattoos. I agree. I know in Japanese culture they don't really like tattoos, but this is a game, right? Why not add more? Obviously it is quite popular, you know, and yeah, add some more. Like maybe I don't mind like having not a facial tattoo, like more like on the arms. They have some, but it's linked to the clothing, right? The clothes, like I think it was the beachside chest piece, I think. Yeah, they should add more tattoos. I agree with that. Ouch. Yeah, I meant Chocobo. Oh, I'm on broken cell phone. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. You bitch! I'm gonna beat the ass out of you. Yeah, I used to have a phone that couldn't. This was back in Nokia days when we had Nokia phones. Yeah, I had a phone that I couldn't press spacebar or something. I can't remember. I couldn't do a space, and so I had to do like a period. So it was annoying as hell. Wow. So glad you could join in the stream. Thank you for checking me out. And I know it's kind of like recommended, but I don't know how it works. But what's the time over there in? I'm assuming you are from the States. What's the time over there right now? I think it's super late for you guys, right? Over here it's 12 in the afternoon. It's downtime as far as this Tonberry server is concerned. Yeah, here in the US people like tattoo to show expressions of what they like music, bands and art. So many have tattoos here. Okay, yeah, tattoos are pretty much accepted in other countries. Like I live in Japan. You have to cover up your tattoos if you have those. Well, if you look foreign, then it's okay. It's okay over there. But generally over here, Japanese they kind of frown. I'm not Japanese, by the way. I'm Singaporean, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, if you want to go to like a onsen, hot springs, yeah, you have to cover it up. And I think that is something to do with their Yakuza or something like that. Yeah. It is 11:15 p.m. Ooh, I'm a late owl. Okay, I'm a night owl. A lot of us stay up late. That's good. That's good. I'm usually I used to be a late night owl. I'll stay up all night. But nowadays, I think I'm getting older. I'm just getting older. I get tired easily. And then I got work. So yeah, I can't really stay up for long. Although once in a while, I still play like up to like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Once in a while. Once in a while. Why am I aggroing everything? No! It's been ages since I've aggroed. You know, because at level 80 you hardly aggro anything. And whatever you aggro, you just kill them. What am I supposed to do here? You? Ah, okay, cool. I never met someone from Singapore. Hello from Ohio. Oh, Ohio. Ohio. That's good morning as well in English. Multitask. I'm so bad at that. Good morning in Japanese. Aggro bunny. I like bunnies. They're cute. Oh, why do I have this face piece? I kind of look like a criminal. I pretty much played almost all the races except for humans because I don't want to be human. You know, I'm already a human in real life. Why should I be a human in here? I've not played a lot of L, and I don't intend to play a lot of L. I played an Alizon. I haven't played the Rogadin. Nikote, yes. But yeah, Lalafels, not really a big fan of Lalafels. Basically for me, it's because if I have a cool looking weapon or cool looking armor, it's gonna look very kiddie on the Lalafell. Oh, okay. Kill. All I have to do is kill you, right? No, I have to kill all of these as well. God damn. No. Hello, what is your Twitch channel? I'll follow you there too. Oh, okay. My Twitch channel is let me see if I can. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Sign into chat. Ooh. Let me see. How do I Let me see. I'm gonna get beaten. But it's okay. It's okay. My channel is okay over here. Oops. Okay, it's over here. Yeah. Am I dead? No, I'm not dead. Yeah. Yeah, but because I think there's a time difference, so and I play a lot of different games as well over there. Over here, this is my first time trying out YouTube streaming, and I don't know how it's turning out. But it seems to be fine over here. This will be mostly Final Fantasy. I mean, if this turns out well, I might stream Final Fantasy exclusively on YouTube. I don't know how YouTube streaming is like, but I guess I have to try it out a few more times in order to figure it out. But for Twitch, I play other games as well. Oh, thank you very much for. I hear that sound, but I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. What is it? What is it? This turns out. Yeah, I hear a sound from my. Yeah, I hear my sound from my broadcasting software, but I have no idea what it is. I'm not very good with technology. Thank you, but thank you, Lux. Thank you, Lux. Yeah, so over there I play a lot of different games, like Genshin. These days I also play a variety of it. But for this YouTube channel, it's mostly gonna be Final Fantasy XIV because my YouTube channel is mostly content from this game. But yeah. Ooh. Come on, faster, faster. Oh man, it's painful. It's painful without a chocobo. Oof. Quickly! I don't know if I can actually speed run this thing. Are there any people? Is there anyone out there who runs this as like a speed challenge? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think MMOs are very, like, it's kind of strange to speed run it because there's no real way to do shortcut stuff. Let's go. Bunny. Oh, is this gonna be the dungeon? Oh yeah, okay, this is gonna be dungeon. Okay, let's go. Q 1,000 miles of Totorak. And while I'm waiting for that, I might as well just kill some stuff. I have to meet my wife for lunch later at 1 o'clock, and I need to make a move. Nah, I'll just run there. Once I'm finished with fastest leveling I found is through Palace of the Dead. Ah yeah, it's just beside over here, right? Yeah, but first I gotta unlock it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Once I unlock it, I think I can level up my other, because I'm gonna be leveling up 3 roles. One is this paladin, one is the DPS, just to play with my friends. DPS is probably gonna be monk, and a healer. Healer is going to be, I haven't decided yet. I don't know what healer. Yeah, but so I have to do my main story anyway, so no way around it. Yeah, you're right. Sad. If this was my first time, I would definitely take my own time and just slowly enjoy the story. But now I probably will finish this stream at roughly, yeah, after this dungeon I will drop out, because normally I play on the Chocobo server and I play with Japanese players. I do speak Japanese, and over here, although it's a Japanese server, although Tonberry is a Japanese server, it is different. Everyone behaves differently, even the Japanese themselves, and it's very interesting to see how foreigners, how English players influence Japanese players over here. Ooh. Overgrown offering. I like how they named this monster Overgrown Offering. What is, oh, what is he doing? Let me see. What is this guy doing? He's taking a screenshot. Marauder, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad I stumbled on your channel. You seem like a cool person. Well, sometimes I do screw up a lot, and I've got my ugly side, so yeah. But thanks for stumbling in, because I think on Twitch, it is very different, right? Small streamers like myself, it's kind of hard to get recommended and stuff. But I guess it all depends. I don't know how it works. I just stream for fun. Right now, yeah, I'm enjoying Final Fantasy XIV. There's one thing bad about having all your classes at 80 is you run out of things to do, right? The only thing left on my main to do is Savage, and I've not touched Savage in the longest time. The only time that I did Savage was back in ARR. That was a long time ago. Bahamut. I did Savage on my Scholar. It was fun times back then. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Okay, let's see. Are they new? No, they're not new, so I can run a little bit faster. Let's go. Are they Japanese players? Yeah, they're Japanese players. Hold on. I can't pull more than this, right? It's been a while. Holy cow. Let's go. So they're all Japanese players. Ooh. Japan JP. Yeah, okay. Oh man, this brings back memories. I remember being a total tanking noob back here. This is so... I remember back in the day, I'm not sure if you remember, Lux. Back in the day we had like a, what was that? Blind, was it? Or was it Flash? As the main way to aggro. Is it? Am I going in the correct direction? I think I am. Yeah, back then we had Flash. So we go into a group of enemies and then we just press Flash. Flash, 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 flash. That was back then. It was funny as hell. I'm gonna go. I think I'm in the correct direction. It's been so... Okay. Ah, yeah, okay. I'm in the right. I'm in the right direction. Let's go. I do notice, like on Tonberry, or at least on the Elemental Data Center, players focus on doing things fast. It's more like they want to finish it and finish it fast. Whereas if it's for my mana data center, the other data center that I'm in, my main, they focus on doing things right. So they do things slowly. They'll pull bit by bit, make sure that everything goes well, so that we do not kind of like wipe. Whereas for here, they want to do things fast. They want to do it fast. Yeah, it's way different now, right? We used to have things like Feather Foot. Remember Feather Foot? That was the monk ability. Oh man, am I gonna die? No. Okay, I'm fine. Let me just check. This white mage, is this his first time? Oh, okay, he's a tank. He's fine. Yeah, we need to pump out things like Flash, Feather Foot. It was just a mess back then, but it was fun. Okay. Ooh. I remember this dude. He poisons everyone, right? Ooh. Yes, time. In the US, they go as fast as possible. Yeah, that's something that doesn't fly well with Japanese people. Like they are very patient in that sense. When someone kind of like disconnects, they will wait less silently. I remember me and my wife, we were in a party and someone disconnected. It was not the tank. Like, because if it's a tank, people will raid, right? Definitely. But it was a DPS. So the DPS disconnected, and then the tank stood there, waiting. We waited for like 15 minutes. We didn't say a single word. We just stood there and wait. Me and my wife, I'm Singaporean. She is Taiwanese, and oh shit, am I doing it right? Okay, I'm doing it right. And we were thinking, what the hell is happening? But we stood there, just waiting. 15 minutes later, the DPS came back, and he said like, sorry, moshiwake nai. I mean, sorry for my disconnection. And then we continued on, like nothing had happened. It's like shit. Whew. I don't know if it's the same for US. In the US, they go as fast as possible. They expect healer to be DPSing fast too. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. It's a whole different mindset. I'm gonna hide over here. Yeah. So healers are gonna be like holying, doing glare, attacking, and then I think the mindset is like the last HP is the only HP that matters, right? Yeah, that doesn't go well in the Japanese culture at all. Yeah. I kind of understand. People don't want to waste everybody else's time. But like for me, I want to do my job well. I don't want the tank to die. I don't want the tank to have less than half health. But I guess, everyone has a different opinion. And I respect that. So it's okay. It's okay. You are very kind. People aren't so kind here in general. Yeah. I ran in the wrong direction. Yeah, I mean, it's toxicity exists in Final Fantasy. right? I mean, we've played from 1.0. You know best. Yeah, toxicity there is in Final Fantasy, just a lot less than World of Warcraft, for example. I try to respect how the group wants to play through and adjust. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like sometimes I would ask, like, is it okay if I pull a lot of people? And tanks over in the JP data centers, they ask as well. Sometimes they ask, like, is it okay if I pull a lot? Most of the time, around about 80% of the time, healers will say, okay, can go ahead and pull. But some of them say, sorry, I'm not used to it. It's my first time doing it, or I'm still not used to the healing role yet. And they're okay with that. I think one of the main differences is that Japanese people, they will straight up say at the start of the dungeon, they will say like, oh, I'm still not used to this role or this dungeon, so can I go slow? And then we're like, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, yeah, that's okay. It's okay. Do you play tanks or do you play healers? If you play from 1.0 and you're still around now, I'm going to bet that you have played pretty much every class. Okay, yeah. As a healer, I appreciate tanks that ask. Good. Yeah. I mean, even myself, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I don't ask and I just go ahead and pull. But for me, it's more like I pull the first pull, and from that first pull, you can pretty much tell whether the healer is able to keep up or not, right? So that's usually what I do. Even though sometimes I don't say it out. I do like a semi big pull, like maybe 2 mobs or so, and then I'll see if the healer is able to keep up. If he's only healing just a little bit and DPSing a lot, okay, yeah, probably very experienced. If he's only just healing, then yeah, I gotta be very careful. I'll just slow down. But yeah. Coil 909 Tails. Oh, this brings me back. It's been a long time since I played this dungeon. I remember as a healer in this dungeon, I ran out of mana because I had to Asuna everybody. See, everyone's got that slow, and I Asuna everyone's got that. So I wasted a lot of time just trying to get everything off, and I let my tank die. It was a long time ago. I was so noob back then, and then I thought, wow, this was so difficult. But then I realized I just have to heal through. Yeah, I've leveled all roles, but I like to play healer like Astra and White Mage, and support DPS like Bard or Red Mage. Ooh, Red Mage is good and so cool. Yay! Let's go. Turn? No, not here. Over here. There should be another one. Where's the third one? There's a third one? Cell Mike, where are you? Okay. Protect myself. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Astro is a healing class that I've never really gotten used to. Playing the cards, using the cards is difficult. I'm like a Mac. I'm not like a PC. I cannot multitask. So I think Astro is kind of tough. Honestly, kind of tough. I think it takes a bit of time to get used to. I like the idea. In fact, what I am hoping, I don't know how it's going to end up. Like in Endwalker, Astro is not going to have the diurnal sect, and the other one is just going to have one. I wonder how it's going to work out. I hope it's good, because one of the main things about playing as Astro is being able to do 2 things at the same time, right? Shielding and healing. They're very good at that. So much so that even scholars are put in the back seat. But I like Astro. The effects are cool. It's nice. Red mages and bards. Between bards and red mages, I think I prefer red mages a little bit more. But I understand. I understand liking supports. It's kind of like helping out the party, right? And it's a lot of stress if you play DPS or a tank. You feel like you are, if you do wrongly, I mean, if you do something wrong, then yeah, you're screwing up. But then as a support, it feels great to just help out your teammates. Ooh, let's go. It's quick. Let's go. Run, buddy. Ooh. I'm like tripping every landmine in here. Ow. Tight on schedule. Yeah, we should see. I'm very excited about Endwalker. I am as well. My wife is very excited about Sage and what's that? Reaper. And then one of the talking points is that's occurring right now among the Japanese community is whether or not the Reaper will have, what's that? The positionals. Whether Reaper will have positionals. And I don't know. I'm just here to have fun. I don't want to think too much. Sage looks awesome. Hella cool. Whoosh. Yeah. Let's go. Ooh. The healer is probably cursing me right now. Red Mage is definitely his lowest stress because it's easy rotation. I play it to relax. Yeah, I mean, you come back home, right? You come back home, you're dead tired, and then you don't want to tank. I don't want to tank. I come back home, I just want to relax. Have a relaxing game and not just get beaten up again. I get beaten up at work. Well, figuratively speaking. I don't want to come back here and get whacked again. Yeah, so I understand that. Red Mage is fun. And what's more, you can resurrect people. It's cool. It's cool. For me, Red Mage is more about the coolness factor. The first time I saw the trailer of Red Mage, it was wow, fuck, I like it. Awesome. Oh shit. Let's see. Okay. Ooh. Get everything. Your wife is cool if she likes Reaper. She's torn between, like, we have come up with a list. What are we gonna do in Endwalker? Is it going to be leveling up a new class, or are we gonna carry on with our existing classes? And if so, what classes? There's just so many things to do, and we're excited. For me, I'm so torn. I guess I have to see the new abilities. Remember when they release it at about January or February. They tell us about the new skills that's gonna come out in the new expansion. Yeah, once I see that, then I'll make my decision. I like Monk. Monk is cool. Otsukare-sama deshita. Oh, otsukare-sama deshita, which is kind of like thank you for the run. I'm gonna give it to the healer because it's cool. I'm gonna greet everything because I need my chocobo. That's cute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Done. I like how my character's got that mask. It's like a criminal. Okay. So, with that, I've pretty much come to the end of my stream because I gotta go out and meet my wife for lunch. And you know, if I'm late for that, I'm dead. I'm so dead. So thank you for joining the stream. Thank you, Lux. This really means a lot to me, taking time out of your busy schedule. All right, thank you so much. I don't have a set schedule on when I stream because my wife, I basically play around my wife's schedule. So if she goes to work, then I can start streaming. And if I'm not working, then I can start streaming. And she's a nurse, so she's in healthcare. Her schedule is not set, and so my schedule is also not set. So I basically stream on and off. Right now, I'm kind of enjoying streaming Final Fantasy XIV. So I might continue probably in like a few days later. I will probably like kind of announce it on my Twitter. But yeah, so thank you, and Jared, thank you as well for lurking, and Lux. So take care everybody, and I'll see you next time.